Hi, I'm a speech language pathologist with a private practice. I see a lot of young people on the spectrum, and just with respect to the last question that the lady asked about knowing how far to push, I was actually at an EduTalk seminar last night led by a different Dr. Weiss, Dr. Margaret Weiss, and the same kind of topic had come up, and she really highlighted from her perspective the importance of kind of keeping the perspective of a disability. Just sort of like what you're talking about too, is that our kids are the same, but they're different, and so the expectations are different. And when you were talking about the kind of rebranding of autism, it sounds like that's kind of starting to happen too, so that's kind of neat. So then just quickly, I have a question and then a little bit of a rant, and I guess this question is primarily for Jonathan, and when you had talked about parents' response to bullying, I thought that was quite interesting, and I'm thinking obviously there's a whole range of parents' responses to their children being bullied. I'm just wondering if you had any suggestions to help parents kind of enable their kids to go the Napoleon Hill way. I have several parents whose kids have been bullied. I guess they haven't given me a lot of details, but it was apparently quite traumatic in elementary school. They're now all in high school, and I've tried to suggest their kids' entry into some social groups where I have a couple of neurotypical high school kids as well, and they're so afraid that the word will get out in the school that their son has autism, even though everybody already knows. And I'm just wondering how to move them past that, because I mean that quote was just profound in terms of you're not going to empower him by you making all the decisions about who he should hang out with, or that he shouldn't even go out. But would it not be better to give him the skills so that anytime he goes around the corner, he's got the ability to protect himself? But they're not there yet, so I'm wondering if you have any ideas.
So bullying and autism is a really important kind of topic on its own, and there are some resources out there for families who are interested to learn more. I think it's so common, unfortunately so common, just in general, bullying and peer victimization is a traumatic, just in general, let alone for children who have neurodevelopmental differences. So we've done workshops with Autism Ontario that are available online that people can also access for if there's other questions that this prompts around bullying specifically, where we've kind of walked through like a 2-hour, these are strategies, what do you do? Okay, take a breath. These are some useful forms to use if people because there might be other questions as well around bullying specifically. And it does resonate a lot, this notion of and it kind of goes back to that other point of, well, if we could change the way that the person is, then then they'll be safe. And or if we don't say the word autism, then they'll be safe. And when it comes to something like bullying, that is not on the person's shoulders. The message is not that they need to change. This is a relationship issue. It's a relational issue, and it involves addressing those peers and those bystanders at least as much, if not more, than the actual youth with autism. So the discourse as a professional with a parent that I often have is, okay, what can we do again to change the contexts? To intervene with the context, not with the child, right? Because the message is not, if only you stop talking about fish, everything would be okay, right? If only we don't say the word autism, everything will be okay. It really is, how do we address this core relational issue, which is abusive, that's potentially in the environments that your child is in, and that is not the responsibility of one parent, or certainly not on the child, but or even on you as a professional. But it certainly, I can't underscore enough how the message is that this is a contextual and relational issue as opposed to an individual issue.
And I'm just going to jump in for 10 seconds here. I don't know if this is relevant to the cases, but it sounds like it might be. In my own life, I've found the label of autism to be a really positive thing, and it's now really a core part of my identity, and it's allowed me to be comfortable with myself in ways that wouldn't be possible without that label. I don't know where the parents stand on that, but I really think that being able to identify as someone with autism in a positive way is really important.